Today we're talking top 5 states for elite high school football talent in the country. Here on the Gridiron Stud Show. Hey, I'm talking to you. Recruiting advice for everyone. It's the Gridiron Stud Show. Well, it's the age-old question. What state provides the best high school football players in the country? And of course, it's summertime. So we're in that time of year where everyone's anxious for the football season to begin. And so you have a bunch of lists that get put out. In this list today, I'm going to just talk about where the elite players in the country come from. And I've only broken it down to the top 5 states. What I've also done is I've only used data over the last 3 years because I want this to be relevant to what's happening in the current times. Stretch it out too far, 10 years, 20 years, then we start including states that may not be as relevant as they have been in the past. Or we might include states where there was a nice little run for 2-3 years and that skews the results. So let me talk to you about the factors that I use to find the states that have the best, that produce the most elite high school football players in the country. And I came up with 4 categories. The first category is this. What states provide the most players on the top ranked recruiting classes each year? And we're talking about team recruiting classes. What state provides the most players on those top 5 classes over the last 3 years? The second category is this. What state has provided the most top 5 ranked players in the country over the last 3 years? The third category is what state has provided the most starters on the last 3 national championship teams? And we all know that the last 3 national championship teams are really just 2 teams, Clemson, then Alabama, and then Clemson, who are now the defending national champions. And then the final factor that I used, over the last 3 years in the NFL draft, which state has produced the most top 5 players picked in the NFL draft? And through that, I went about finding who are the top 5 countries, top 5 states in the country providing elite talent. And some of the results may surprise you. So on to the rankings. Coming in at number 5 is Louisiana. Yes, the boot, the per capita champion of providing NFL talent every year, comes in at number 5 on our list of the top 5 states for providing elite football players in the country. There's no doubt about it. The top 5 classes each and every year have something to do with Louisiana. Louisiana is going to be involved, folks, whether it's Texas or Texas A&M or Georgia or Alabama or even LSU itself that finds itself with a top 5 recruiting class. Best believe they found players from the state of Louisiana, and rightfully so. A lot of talent and a lot of great athletes running through the state of Louisiana, and they're sure represented on the top 5 classes over the last 3 years in doing the research. Where Louisiana also ranked well was in the top 5 picks over the last 3 NFL drafts. Devin White and Leonard Fournette are 2 guys that have been picked in the top 5 over the last 3 years. Well, you say, well, that's only 2. That's not easy to get. As research has shown, the top, in terms of providing talent, only had 3. And Louisiana comes in second with number 2. So Louisiana is number 5 on the list. Coming in at number 4 is California. California was able to rank in 2 of the 4 categories that we set aside for this ranking, where they're strong as in providing top 5 talent each and every year. So in terms of that, we're talking about providing players that are ranked in the top 5 each and every year. According to 247 Sports, California has a number 1 ranking in that category. Where they're also strong as in providing players on the top 5 recruiting team rankings each and every year, according to 247 Sports. California's done a good job of having players on those recruiting classes. It does help that USC has been ranked in a couple of those classes. Texas, Texas A&M, as well as Michigan and Ohio State have all gone into California looking and signing talent. So that has helped California achieve their number 4 ranking. What was surprising is that out of the last 3 draft classes, no California player has been drafted in the top 5, and so that hurt them, along with not having very many starters on the last 3 national champions, which is, again, Clemson and Alabama. So California is number 4 on our list of the top 5 states producing elite high school football talent in the country. Number 3 on our list is Florida, and that may come as a surprise to many of you. Every year we watch the NFL draft, and it seems Florida holds the top spot for the amount of players that are appearing in the NFL draft. But again, our list is not about quantity, it's about quality. And on this list, Florida comes in at number 3. Where Florida is strong is in providing players on the top 5 recruiting classes every year, with Georgia and Alabama routinely amongst the top 5 on that list. It only stands to reason that Florida would be well represented. What has hurt Florida in that particular list is that Florida, Miami, and Florida State have not appeared in the top 5 recruiting classes over the last 3 years. Had they, Florida would be ranked even stronger there. Where Florida has also appeared is in providing players that are ranked top 5 in the country by 247 Sports. A couple of players coming from IMG, which is located in Bradenton, Florida. That has helped them in that ranking. And I know what some of you are thinking, hey, a lot of those players at IMG come from other states. That may be the case, but you got to give IMG some credit for developing those players and pumping them out and having them become number 1 or top 5 ranked players in the country, again, according to 247 Sports. So Florida comes in at number 3 on our list of top 5 schools or top 5 states providing high school football talent across the country. Number 2 on our list is the state of Texas. Yes, the Lone Star State comes in at number 2. Texas was able to rank in 2 of our 4 categories. What really helped Texas, though, is they're ranked number 1 in those 2 categories. And one of those categories is providing players on the top 5 recruiting classes over the last 3 years. Doesn't matter who it is, whether it's LSU or it's USC or it's Ohio State or Michigan, they all go and find players in the state of Texas. And of course, Texas is a big state that loves high school football. What has also helped Texas in this category is the fact that Texas has appeared in the top 5 rankings, as well as Texas A&M. And it only makes sense that they go and recruit players out of their own state. There's good football there. It's a big state, and they better do it if they're Texas and Texas A&M. But Texas is number 1 ranked in providing players on the top 5 recruiting classes. And in a bit of a surprise, if you haven't been paying attention, Texas ranked number 1 in providing top 5 NFL draft picks over the last 3 years. Texas is number 1 in that category. And it only comes well, let's just talk about who's been ranked in that category for them. Baker Mayfield, picked up by Cleveland the year before. Kyler Murray from Texas is the number 1 overall pick over the last 3 years. They have been able to produce that kind of talent. And the one last guy that has been picked in the top 5 in the NFL draft over the last 3 years, Myles Garrett. He hails from Texas. So that helped Texas catapult themselves to the number 1 in that category in providing 3. That's the most out of any state, believe it or not. But we're only talking about 15 players here over the last 3 years. But if you look at it, 20% of those players have come from the state of Texas with Mayfield, Murray, and Myles Garrett. Those 2 categories ranking number 1 has put Texas at number 2 in our top 5 states producing the elite high school football talent across the country. And that brings us to number 1 on our list. Drum roll, please. Stop. Comment. I want to know who you guys thought was going to be number 1 on this list before you even started watching this video. Was it Georgia? Should have been, because that is who is number 1 on our list of the top 5 states producing elite high school football talent across the country. Georgia is on the rise, folks. Whether it's the talent now being discovered or it's the high school football coaching, some of the best football coaches in the country are migrating to Georgia, and perhaps that's having an effect. We can take a look into all of the factors that are leading in that direction, but the truth of the matter is our research has shown that Georgia right now is the number 1 state in producing top 5 elite talent across the country. And how have they been able to do that? By providing players on the top 5 recruiting classes over the last 3 years. Georgia has been able to rank 2nd in that category. They rank number 1, tied with 2 other states, in terms of providing top 5 ranked players according to 247 Sports over the last 3 years. Georgia has certainly shown up in that category. Georgia is also number 1 in providing starters on the last 3 national champions. Again, Clemson, Alabama, and then Clemson again. These are teams from the South, so it would stand to reason that they would go into Georgia and pick up talent out of that rich state, and they have done so. And not only have they been able to pick up that talent has become starters on Clemson and Alabama to help them move forward in these rankings and grab that number one spot. The only category that Georgia didn't rank in is in providing players in the top 5 of the last 3 NFL drafts. But outside of that, Georgia ended up being the only state ranking in 3 out of our 4 categories. Just put it to you this way. Georgia shows up quite a bit when you're looking for and you're trying to find answers to who provides elite talent across the country. It doesn't matter what the category is. Georgia is showing up there right now. So kudos to Georgia. Again, we only surveyed over the last 3 years. We wanted to keep it as current and as relevant as possible. So give the crown to Georgia as the number 1 ranked state in terms of providing elite high school football talent across the country. We'll see what next year brings. But that's the list, folks. Read them and weep. And again, if you like this video, first of all, I know you guys have comment on this. Anytime you put out a list on who has the best high school football talent across the country, hey, folks are either happy with the list if their team's number 1 and everyone else is pissed. Did we get this wrong? Comment in the comment section below. I would love to hear what you guys think in terms of who has the best high school football talent across the country. And if you enjoyed the video, give it a like and then also subscribe. And hit the bell. You got to hit the bell down there because that will inform you every time we release some videos, whether that's on college football recruiting or it's on training for high school football. Be sure to hit that bell so you're notified. So like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell. We appreciate it. And I would love to hear comments. I will read them all and I will comment to as many of them as possible. But would love to hear from you guys. Who do you think has the most elite talent in terms of high school football players across the country? Would love to know. Again, thank you very much for watching. If you guys are prospects, if you're high school football players playing this game and you're not on the Gridiron Studs app, I would urge you to go do that right now. I have a link right here in the bio. Go hit that link. Download the Gridiron Studs app. If you're a high school football fan and you're a college football recruiting fan, and I know there are many of them out there, also, download the Gridiron Studs app. It gives you an opportunity to follow some of the top players across the country, see who your particular favorite program is recruiting, and get the information on their recruiting straight from them, straight from the horse's mouth, as they have opened up profiles and they provide recruiting status updates. It's very easy for you to follow how their recruiting is going and whether or not they're going to be attending your favorite program school. So hit the link on there, download it, the Gridiron Studs app, and you guys can also enjoy the recruiting process the same way that the prospects do. So prospects, download it, fans, download it, and if you happen to be a college football coach watching this, I can't stress to you enough how much this will help you in your recruiting efforts. You too, download the Gridiron Studs app, get it on your phone, set up a profile, start following some of these recruits from around the country. So the Gridiron Studs recruiting app is for everyone in the process. Prospects, fans, coaches, get it now. Gridiron Studs app, hit the link in the bio or in the description and download the app right away. Thank you guys for listening.